Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan, and this is another podcast, mini podcast, episode 15 today. I'm super excited to be here talking about more characters, going in depth with a few more characters, just so we can get done. Because in a few months, as we all know it, X-Men United will be here at my at my door, and while there's going to be at least 80 something more characters or more heroes to play in. So having that in-depth stuff is going to be big. And just so we can speed things faster, we're going to do lots of more mini podcast episodes. Anyway, today we got Moon Knight, Okoye, and Elektra, three heroes that, well, are kind of unknown in the Marvel universe. But what makes them special in this game? Why are they cool? Stuff like that. We're going to answer all these kind of cool stuff and see what happens today. What do I think about these characters? Anyway, again, this is Roster United. Welcome. We're today, for those who don't know what in-depth means, basically we're going to go and talk about each character, their symbols, their powers, their abilities, and then at the end of all that, I'm going to express my feelings for that character, expressing what I like and dislike about that character, and then at the end, we're going to rank all three of these characters from least to best. So, let's go and start today with Moon Knight. He's an interesting character. And let's see what he has here. Moon Knight has 5 moves. Excuse me. I'm reading this wrong. Has 3 moves, 5 hits, 7 heroics, and 3 wilds. He also has 6 2-symbol cards. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed, because 6 2-symbol cards are really good. As those who don't know or that do know and don't remember, every character has 12 cards. Having 6 out of the 12 cards being 2-symbol cards is really good. Again, 2-symbol cards is a card that has 2 symbols on it. You basically want lots of these cards for the character, because this implies giving more to yourself and giving more actions to your other teammates when it's their turn. Just spreading some more options for your character and for your teammates to do in their turn. So having 6 2-symbol cards is honestly really, really good. Moon Knight himself, his stats with 3 moves, 5 hits, 7 heroics, 3 wilds. Easily, he is a heroic hit character or a hit heroic character. However you feel comfortable saying, he's one of those two. I don't really like his stats a lot. I mean, I like the 5 hits. I like the 7 heroics. That's phenomenal. That's a lot of symbols for those categories. But the problem is the moves. And yesterday, I played with this group. I've played with Moon Knight, Okoye, and Elektra against Rhino. And I learned that this squad, every single character, of course we're going to talk more about them, they had trouble moving. So did Moon Knight. Moon Knight was having so much trouble trying to get across the places and stuff. It was really difficult for him to, clear those civilians off, clear those threat cards off, and even hit some thugs. It was hard to do that because, again, he can't move. So a little note, just for those who want to play Marvel United, who are new to it, or for those who are just existing, remember, or for those who, like to play the game and already have it and know a lot of stuff about it, remember, having moves is very important for your whole team. I mean, really, it's important. Getting around to places, it's really important. So having these moves is really, really great. But Moon Knight does not have that much moves. He only has 3 moves, which is not that much. But honestly, everything else is perfect 5 hits, 7 heroics. It's a great balance there to do many things. He has this flexibility of hitting people, of hitting thugs, defeating thugs, and rescuing civilians. So that part is fine. Again, the moves, he could have some help with the moves a little. Now let's go check his abilities. Every character has at least 3 ability cards that I have seen. There are a few characters who have more, but the average of abilities that a character has is at least 3. So let's see his 3 abilities, shall we? Moon Knight has this ability called Moon Knight Suit. And it says here, until the beginning of your next turn, if you would take damage, ignore it and move to any location instead. This is interesting. You don't just take damage, which is usually a typical kind of common ability that a lot of characters have in the game, where they don't take damage until the beginning of their next turn, which is the case for Moon Knight. But it says here, when he's going to get damaged, you ignore it and then you move to any location. That's the interesting part. So you basically here want to set yourself up in a way where you will get hit in order for you to move anywhere in the anywhere in the board and any location, which is awesome, really. I mean, again, for Moon Knight, who doesn't move a lot, that ability is going to help him a lot. So putting him in front of the danger is really going to help Moon Knight you get around the board. But of course, this is just one ability. So having this ability again in your card is it's going to be tough. As we as I might know, and as all of you might know, there's a location in the game where it lets you take a card from the storyline and replace it with one in your hand. So if you do land in that location with Moon Knight, you can start getting this his suit per se, his suit back in your hand and then replacing it, getting you across the whole board. You know, you kind of have to time it right. So I guess this power is okay. Depending, I guess it depends on what villain you're going for here. The villain that I went was Rhino, and I didn't really use this card as much. Now you might not know a lot about Rhino, and we're gonna talk to him. We're gonna go in depth with the villains here in a little bit, in a few podcasts in the future, and he's gonna be the main attraction, and we're gonna see him. But basically, Rhino, he kind of moves a lot, and he hits people really, really hard. So having this power is great. You ignore all damage, and then you move. That's perfect for Moon Knight. He also has this this dissociative identity disorder. Okay, I am totally saying that wrong. The first word, I don't know what it says. I'm super sorry, but it's identity disorder, which basically says shuffle your hand and your deck together, then draw 3 cards. Now, usually, again, for those who are Marvel United fans, we all know the recharge ability, which is to gain 3 cards back in your hand, is great. For those who are new to Marvel United, your 3 cards that are in your hand are your life, basically. So if you have no more cards in your hand, you are KO'd. So it's always important to keep having 3 cards in your hand or 2 cards in your hand. You know, just try to survive. And we see here that this is interesting. You don't just draw the 3 cards, but you also shuffle your hand and your deck cards together. Now, this can be a little frustrating because you might have a good card in your hand, and now you have to shuffle in the deck and then draw 3 cards. The possibility of grabbing that card again is going to be very low. Of course, it depends, though, how many cards are in the deck left. So that's kind of taking a chance, but you are getting your 3 cards back, so you are re-healing here. So I think that ability is pretty dang good. I can't lie. And also he has Kahonshu's Power. Kahonshu's Power. I think I'm saying it right. Maybe not. Anyway, it says here gain one wild token for each of your special effect cards in the storyline, including this one. So basically, here it means that for every special effect card or for every ability card that you have played, especially especially the the one with this power, that's how many wild tokens you get. So that is a potential of having 3 wild tokens. And as we all know, in a wild token, you can either hit, move, or do a heroic action. So wilds are great in the game, very useful. And what we see here, Moon Knight can really take advantage of that. So overall, Moon Knight for me is an okay character. Some of his abilities are good, but you are kind of taking a risk. He kind of tweaks a few common abilities in the game and kind of makes it sometimes he makes it good, sometimes he makes it bad. In this case, he made it bad. He made it really bad. I've played, like I said earlier, I played a match against Rhino and some other villain. I forgot his name. I thought I had it written down, but I guess I didn't. And man, Moon Knight was just having trouble with his abilities. It didn't just really work out that well. So, yeah, you're kind of taking a chance with Moon Knight there. All right, next we're going to go with Okoye. As you might know, Okoye is one of the royal guards to the Black Panther, or to Wakanda. So it's very interesting to see here what she does. So let's do this, shall we? Let's see here. Okoye, she has 3 moves. She has 7 hits, 3 heroics, and 4 wilds. Very interesting here. She also has 5 2-symbol cards, which is good. I can't lie. It's actually still really good. Not as good as 6 2-symbol cards, but 5 is not bad at all. That is really good. Just looking at her stats, we see here Okoye she's got okay stats. 7 hits is great. For 7 hits, having 3 heroics is pretty good. I've seen other examples, and you might have heard them if you listened to some of the episodes here in Roster United. A big hitter, having a big hitter can be really good. But again, it just depends how many moves and how many heroics she has or he has. And we see here clearly Okoye has 3 moves, and that's okay. I mean, it's not really that good. Honestly, for me, I would personally like at least 4 moves with those 7 hits. 3 heroics, that's fine. If Okoye is going to be a big hitter, I don't really care a lot about the heroicness of the character, but I do care about the moves, and that's the one problem Okoye has here. She does have an extra wild symbol, which is really, really good. Which is 4 wilds. That's good. So she could do be a lot more flexible with the wilds. But of course, it just depends. It depends how the game goes. As we all know, or those who don't know, Marvel United is a whole new game every time you play. You could play with the same characters over and over and over again, and I promise you, every single game will be different. There will be something different because the cards are just shuffled, and it's just a different combination of the game, basically. So it's really cool how that goes. Anyway, let's see Okoye's abilities here. She has Vibranium Spear, which says deal 2 damage in an adjacent location. That is cool. That is good. Deal 2 damage in an adjacent location. So that gives her a little bit of range attack, which is great. Sometimes you can't reach a location without moving, which is Okoye's stat problem that she's having here. She can't really move like we said earlier. So having this adjacent location double hit power here is really helpful for her, and of course for the player playing as Okoye. I really like that power. I can't lie. She also has Dora Milaje. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Basically, it's what they call the guards in Wakanda. I don't think I'm saying it right, but anyway, since she is the captain of these guards, she is going to have this ability, which is until the beginning of your next turn. If another hero in your location takes damage, you cannot take that. You take that damage instead. So basically, here, if one of your teammates is getting attacked, we see here clearly she's gonna have that attack. So I guess that's good in some ways. Um, you can kind of have that team playing there, and it's not all that bad. If another hero is about to get KO'd, Okoye can step in and be like, "Well, look, villain, this is my squad. You're not. If you want to get through them, you're gonna get through me." That's basically what she's saying with this ability, and I think it's a really good one. You can sacrifice yourself, but at least your other teammate is still in the game, and that is really good. Again, there is nothing bad with that power. I guess it just depends how useful it can be, depending on the situation or depending on the scenario you're playing in. So that can be a yes, and that can be also a no kind of power in the game. She also has accomplished strategist. Really? Wow. Okay. Accomplished strategist, which says reveal the top card of your deck. You may put it on the bottom of your deck. Interesting. So here you can reveal the top card of your deck, of the character's deck. And then you can see, do I really want this card? If not, I can put it in the bottom and hopefully better cards show up in my deck. And that really works really well. Sometimes you want to get to your good cards in the game. I've had many experiences with that, and we see here clearly Okoye has that power. So that is amazing. Okoye is pretty dang good. Her abilities are pretty good. I can't lie. Her stats are okay. I wish her stats had more hits. Or no, excuse me. She has enough hits. I wish Okoye had more moves. Yes, I wish she had more moves in in uh in her stats. So that really stinks. But you know what? Other than that, it's fine. It's fine. We're all good. We're all good. All right, let's go back here to Elektra. Interesting. Elektra. Oh yeah, I also forgot. I'm going way too fast. I'm so sorry about this. Okoye is a big hitter. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Just to clarify, she is a huge hitter. And next up, we have Elektra. She is very interesting, Elektra. Let's see what she does. She has 4 moves. She has 8 hits, 1 heroic, and 3 wilds. Now, like I said earlier with Okoye, if you are a big hitter, I don't really care about the heroics. Well, in this situation, I don't know why, I feel like Elektra should have at least 2 heroics. You know what I mean? Having 1 heroic is horrible. Horrible. If I'm correct, and you can always go back to this podcast here. When we did Wakanda Forever or the Rise of Black Panther expansion podcast, we talked about what's the friend of Captain America, Bucky, right? Winter Soldier. Yes, when we talked about Winter Soldier, he had only 1 heroic, but he was a big hitter, and he couldn't really move as well. Elektra here, she's got 4 moves. That's pretty good. Of course, with what her stats are, having 4 moves is not bad at all. 2 symbol card wise, team playing wise, she only has 4, which is I guess average. The more I've seen it, there is probably 4 2 symbol cards and that's probably the average. So she is an okay too simple character. Again, moves are pretty decent, so are hits, and her heroics stink. They're horrible. Get that off. I really don't want that at all. Anyway, let's check her abilities really quick here. We got Ninja Training, which says deal 2 damage, or you cannot take any damage until the beginning of your next turn. So we see here there's clearly some options to do, especially with taking damage, especially with dealing damage or not taking damage. So flexibility there on different scenarios that can happen during the game. She also has Master Assassin, which says deal 2 damage. That's it. Deal 2 damage. And she also has Sai, which I hope I'm saying that right. Sai, which says deal 1 damage in both adjacent locations. I like that power. The deal 2 damage on Master's Assassin, I don't like that. Get that out of here. I don't want that. I like the deal 1 damage in both adjacent locations. That gives her more range. Actually, it gives her better range than Okoye, in my opinion. Because in Okoye, she can only pick 1 adjacent location. Elektra here can choose both adjacent locations from where Elektra is at. So that is really awesome. I really like that. And of course, it just depends. It all just depends on the villain you're going with. If the villain is going to lay down lots of thugs, well, I think Elektra is going to do really well because she's going to hit really well. She can move decently with what her stats are. And with this power, which says deal 1 damage to both adjacent locations, she has great flexibility and range. So I think Elektra is actually probably a little better than Okoye in just moving wise and hitting wise. And I think Okoye has a few good abilities. I think they're just both tied in abilities. I think Elektra and Okoye have good enough abilities for what they stand out for. So Elektra, good character. Okoye, good character. Moon Knight, I guess it depends on what's going on in the game. But other than that, we are good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. This has been Roster United, presented by Mullicast. I have been your host, Ethan, and this is Roster United.